Electric public transport vehicles. Introduction. The transport sector is one of the largest sources of carbon emissions in the world, accounting for nearly a quarter of all greenhouse gases, GHG, produced. It also accounts for around 20% of total energy consumption and 40% of oil demand. Electric vehicles, EVs, are rapidly gaining popularity as they can help reduce these numbers while improving personal mobility and public health. Here's what we know about electric buses so far. Electric buses could keep the air in Beijing clean. Electric buses are much cleaner than diesel buses. They emit no particulates or other harmful pollutants, and they produce much less noise pollution. Electric buses are also much cheaper to run, and by compared to diesel ones, they require less maintenance, don't need to be refueled as often, or at all, and it's easier for drivers to find parking spots when switching from one mode of transport to another. A fleet of electric buses in New York City could reduce carbon emissions by 4,500 tons per year. Oops! Click regenerate content below to try generating this section again. Electric taxis became a mass phenomenon in London over the past 5 years. Electric taxis are becoming more common in London, where they have been hailed as a key way to reduce carbon emissions and noise pollution. In addition to being cleaner than conventional vehicles, electric cars emit no tailpipe emissions when they're in use. The only emission comes from the battery pack. This can be recharged by plugging into an external source such as solar panels or wind turbines. A futurist city has deployed 1,000 electric cars to provide 80% of its taxi services. Copenhagen, Denmark is a city that has been making headlines for years. From its commitment to renewable energy and urban planning to its progressive political climate, it's no surprise that the Danish capital has become an unlikely hub for innovation and technology. The latest project from Copenhagen On Demand, a collaboration between Uber and the city government, aims to help realize this vision by bringing electric cars into public transportation services. The project is called Copenhagen On Demand, COD, and it will deploy 1,000 electric cars for use by taxi drivers in 2020. Each vehicle will be outfitted with sensors that detect when there's a passenger waiting nearby. If so, the driver can pull up at any time via an app or text message, otherwise they can stay parked until someone requests their services later on down the road. In addition to providing cost savings over traditional vehicles using fossil fuels like diesel fuel or gasoline engine power plants, COD also reduces CO2 emissions by 80% compared with these fuels alone. A Chinese city has put 1,000 electric buses on the road so far this year, and aims to increase that to 5,000 by the end of 2017. China is a leader in electric bus deployment, with more than 3,000 buses on the road now. The country has been investing heavily in clean energy and has plans to increase its fleet of electric buses by 10 times by 2020. The Chinese government is trying to build an efficient transportation system that can reduce pollution levels, said Zhou Yongjun, chairman of BYD Auto Company, which makes electric cars and buses. It's not just about reducing CO2 emissions. An e-bus pilot project in India's commercial capital was given a boost of 100 new electric buses. An e-bus pilot project in India's commercial capital was given a boost of 100 new electric buses. The state government has introduced the first ever electric bus service in Kerala, with 100 buses to hit the road from next month onwards. The decision to introduce e-buses was taken by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan after he met Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his recent visit to Delhi and Mumbai. The transport sector is a key part of any effort to reduce carbon emissions. The transport sector is a key part of any effort to reduce carbon emissions. Electric vehicles are already available, but they still account for only a small percentage of all cars on the road. Electric buses and trains have also been deployed in many cities, but their use remains limited by high cost and maintenance requirements. Electric bikes are becoming more popular as well because they can be used by commuters who don't own an automobile but want to get around town quickly, for example, those who work at home. Electric scooters have also seen some success thanks to their ease of use and low cost. However, these types of vehicles represent only about 0.4% of total vehicle sales worldwide today. Conclusion. Electric buses have the potential to become a huge part of the future of public transport. The technology is still in its infancy, but it's clear that they can make a difference in terms of air quality and emissions, as well as cost effectiveness. If these types of vehicles can be deployed more widely, we'll all benefit from cleaner air and fewer emissions.